G'day, it's Grant from Broadsword Fitness here. Today we're going to be talking about 5 different tips to help you stay consistent, especially during the winter months. So the first tip has got to do with just preparing yourself for sessions. So, it's always going to be colder mornings, colder evenings, things like that. It's going to be harder for you to wake up and even get yourself ready for a workout if you're coming home from work, or no matter what time of day you're choosing to do it. One of the best things that you can do is just get your clothes ready. It's literally as simple as that. It's just removing one barrier that a lot of people kind of get stuck on before they go and do their workouts. If you have your clothes ready, it's one less step you need to make before you actually do your session. It's already set to go. You just have to put them on. This just, during winter time, you're just not as keen to get in there and do the work and, get in, get out, so to speak. If you can just make it as easy as possible for you to stick to your routine, that's going to be the best thing for you. And yes, it is quite simple, but, it's the simple things that make things a lot easier in the long run as well. So prepare your clothes before you work out. The second one is choosing home workouts instead of going to the gym. Now, obviously, this isn't something everyone needs to do, but this is generally for people who find it harder to, get out of bed, get dressed and get into the car, because especially if you're a busy dad, mum, dad, student, whatever, waking up early in the morning on a winter day is really, really hard. And to motivate yourself to get into the car, drive 5 to 10, 20 minutes to the gym to work out is a really big hurdle for you to get over, especially if, consistency has been a really big challenge of yours throughout your life. The consistency with workouts, that is. So opting for home workouts is a great kind of option for you. Of course, if you don't have a lot of equipment, that's a great option, but you shouldn't be choosing this option every single time. Of course, if you have a great home gym setup, that's fine, go for it. If you're still able to tick all your boxes, if you've got an upper body day or a lower body day or whatever you're gonna do, and the equipment you have at home is able to tick that box in terms of intensity and the weight or load that you're working at, go for it. If you don't have much equipment at home and you're kind of beyond the body weight exercises, then, it's okay to make this decision and take this option, but don't take it all the time, because you're going to find, it's doing body weight sessions when you're, surpassed that level of difficulty is not going to help you, make more gains or improve your muscle mass or weight loss, whatever it might be. So it's just good to keep that in mind. It's a really good option, but there's always a nuance when it comes to any decisions you're making. The third option is to generally just become more organized when it comes to your sessions. So this one is more so talking about the session times and how long you're exercising for. Listen, I don't think it's going to matter too much how long you exercise for. I think generally after you're warmed up, it's generally quite easy to finish off your workout, unless the act of working out itself is not enjoyable to you. Then in that case, you'd obviously have to consider other avenues, such as choosing workouts, training, or the form of exercise that you're choosing something that aligns closer with your interests and your goals. But this particular goal is to do with, navigating around the changes in the times of day. So for example, we know during winter that the sun sets earlier. It's generally darker a lot earlier in the day. So it's always a good idea to understand, just how to kind of work around that. And I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but when it's cold, when it's, you know, really tricky for you to get out of bed and motivate yourself after dinner or the end of the day after work to get into the gym, maybe it might be worth even changing the time of day that you do your workouts. You know, whether it be jumping into the gym at lunchtime while you're at work or at uni or whatever it might be. The whole idea is that when you're training and when you're working out, you need to kind of stay on top of things. You don't have to be organized to the degree where you're across every single tiny detail of your training routine, but it's being more aware. You need to be present and you need to be kind of actively engaged in what you're doing. If you're on autopilot, that's great. This is obviously a really big challenge for people who make their own. I mean, it's a big challenge for everyone, really. But I find, if it's the same thing for people who attend to the doctors because they've been told they need to. I get plenty of clients like this too. Like, why are you here? I don't know. My doctor sent me. And that can be very challenging to kind of help motivate them to change their lives, through exercise or whatever it might be. But if you're following a routine or a plan made by a personal trainer or a physical therapist, physio, whatever it might be, you need to understand more about what you're doing and why you're doing it, because that's going to help you stay more consistent in the long run. So I know I've gone on a bit of a tangent with this one, but generally, if you're more organized and you're more aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it and how to do it, your consistency is going to be a lot easier to maintain in the long run as well. And you're just going to feel like you're in greater control of what you're doing. And I mean, that's only going to be beneficial for you when you're working towards your goals. Number 4, it's to understand that no matter what time of the year, if it's winter, summer, whatever stress you're going through in life, there's going to be hard times. It's going to be harder days where it's harder to get out of bed, nights where it's harder to get into the gym, get into the garage to work out your workout space, whatever it is. There's always going to be a difficult time. Yes, during winter, it's going to be harder because it's colder, and generally you're just going to, opt for getting into warmer clothes and snuggling up and doing whatever, because that's what your body is telling you to do. But if we listen to everything our body told us to do, then, you wouldn't be on this journey to lose weight or gain muscle or change your life for the better. The idea is to actually, understand that if you want to make a positive change in your life, you kind of have to endure the suck. You have to go through the difficult times in order to get those good results. And that's what it's all about. And that goes back into the being on autopilot mode. If you are more aware that there's going to be harder times to stay consistent, it's actually going to be easier for you to stay consistent, to follow through with your routine, rather than, everyone's on autopilot at some stage of their life and day or week, whatever it might be. But if you go to bed, it's Tuesday night of the week, Tuesday night, you go to bed on Tuesday night and you're like, sweet, I'm going to wake up early to do a Wednesday workout in the morning. And you don't have in the front of your mind that you're expecting it to be cold. You're expecting it, yourself to be, obviously exhausted. You're going to expect it to take longer for you to warm up and so forth. Then it's going to be harder for you to kind of motivate yourself to just ignore all of the, not the lazy tendencies, but that voice telling you to stay in bed and, take the easier road. So if you're more understanding and aware and you know that it's going to be hard, it actually is going to be easier for you to stay consistent over the long run. Number 5, this is kind of in a general sense. You need to understand yourself a bit more. Okay, so this is understand your weaknesses, understand your shortcomings. If you know that you're someone who struggles to get up in the morning and to stay, consistent with your morning exercises or workouts, then make it easier for yourself. Yes, we've gone over these tips, preparing your clothes the night before, going for home workouts instead, becoming more organized and understanding that it's going to get hard at times. If you understand your personal weaknesses, such as I've got a bad knee, I've got a bad hip, a bad lower back. I know that during the winter months, my joint pain flares up, then it might be a better option for you to do those workouts later in the day. The reason for that is because you've gotten quite a good amount of activity throughout the day to kind of warm up those joints, but the pain may not, I don't know everyone's daily routine and the level of pain they're going through. We're talking about previous injuries, whatever you might have, arthritis even. Generally, your body's going to be more warmed up towards the end of the day just because of daily use, showing up to work. If you live at home, if you're retired, just moving your body throughout the day, you're going to be, your joints are going to be more oiled up to move versus first thing in the morning. That's one example. Another example might be, I know late in the afternoon, it's harder for me to work out because my mind and my body just wants to shut down, enter, mong out mode and just, go with the flow and, just relax and do all that. It might be a better idea for you to actually make your workout sessions earlier in the day or at a time when your motivation is higher and your energy levels are higher. This is all about, being in control of what you're doing. It's great to get advice online and from a personal trainer or from a physio or an exercise physiologist like myself. But at the end of the day, it's your body and it's your life. You are the one driving the ship here. You're the one in charge. The only person who's going to make these changes is you. And someone else can keep you accountable. Yeah, that's great. But, they're not with you the second you wake up. They're not with you the second you get home from work. It's important that you understand how hectic your life is, but also understand what you can do to mitigate the stress, the fatigue, and just those very easy choices when you get home. So I know I'm kind of going on a tangent here, and this one's not really super specific like the others, but it's understanding, how you function as a person, both mentally and physically throughout the day and day to day as well. That's my advice when it comes to staying consistent. I know they're not like, some of those are more typical ones, but as an exercise physiologist, these are the ones that I tend to run into the most with my clients over the span of my career. At the end of the day, you're the person who's going to make these changes happen. So it's important that you take accountability for what you're doing, but you find some joy and some excitement in the process because, at the end of the day, you're doing this for you. You might be doing this for your kids or someone else, but at the end of the day, your body is your body. No one else is going to feel those physical and mental improvements and benefits from being more active and more healthy than you. You're the one who's going to reap those rewards. So you have to make sure that you're on top of it. That's all I've got for today. I'll catch you up in the next one. Thank you.